away. So ladies and gentlemen, let us start to look at the strategic brand management module. And let us specifically start to understand this model of from brand vision to brand evaluation. Now, the cynic in me. Why do I call the model from brand vision to brand evaluation? It's very simple. It's because years and years ago, my wife and I, with our family, we were driving to a friend's home. We were badly lost. We saw a fine fellow walking down the road, stopped, got out of the car, showed him on the map where we wanted to be, and said, basically, how do you get there from here? And this fine fellow, I won't do the accent, said, I wouldn't like to be going there from here. Why do I call this model from brand vision? Very simple. Because what we know from the literature is those brands that really succeed, they have a sense of direction. They're not opportunistic. They have a long-term vision about what they're trying to achieve. They therefore will say there are certain things we will do, there are other things we will not do. So we start off in this model by really saying if we're going to thrive with our brands, we're going to thrive because the first thing that we need is we need a vision. Let me bring this to life. Let me take a hypothetical fashion house. A fashion house full of designers that makes ladies very chic clothing. This fashion house may have a brand vision as follows. A brand vision, if it's powerful, has three components. The first component is a view about an environment that they're trying to bring about. Not 1 year, not 2 years, but at least 5 years ahead. The environment, this organization, there will come a time when there will only be beauty and joy. There will come a time when there will only be beauty and joy. That's what they're striving for. They're trying to use their approach to clothes design to bring about this sensation of there being a time when there is only beauty and joy. Ladies and gentlemen, look at what they did. They didn't talk about clothing. There will come a time when there will only be beauty and joy. By taking a benefits perspective, it doesn't therefore restrict you in terms of the type of portfolio you must operate with. There will come a time when only be beauty and joy. It enables you to take a much broader approach in terms of how do we satisfy it. So the first component of a vision is a future. The second component of a vision is a purpose. The purpose answers the question, how will the brand make the world a better place? So I go back to my hypothetical design house. The purpose of the brand is to create a pleasurable life for the notables. In other words, these are trendsetters. These are people who've got relatively high relatively high disposable income, and it's all about creating this pleasurable life deliberately for the notables, because by being the trendsetters, the hope therefore is others will then want to follow. Two components of the vision: a future, a purpose. Then the third and final component of the vision answers the question, and how will the brand get there? In other words, now what we need is values. We need a low number of values. We need a low number of values that the brand believes in. So I stay with my fashion house. And my fashion house may have values like glamour, pleasure, stylish. Now think about what's gone on. There's a vision, a three-component entity. But look at the way that the different components of that vision reinforce each other. So we start and we have a view about what we're trying to do with the brand. Why should we exist? How will this environment within which the brand operates, how will it benefit society in some way? Having developed a vision, the vision then leads to a call for a certain type of organizational culture. An organisational culture that will then be inspired to bring some of this dream about. Because we've dreamt, and we want to bring this dream to life now. So, I now start to think about, well, what sort of culture might be more appropriate for this design house, with its concern about a time when there'll just be beauty and joy? Well, first and foremost, in terms of its culture, it would be wise if it put its head office, in a home of design, Milano, Paris, New York. Let's stay with Milano. If I'm into Milano, it's ideal, really, isn't it? Because the culture there is going to be a culture where, Italian, you sing Italian, you sing it, yeah. Also, you use your hands, to bring this thing about. And surely that's what design is, isn't it? It's about communicating a different type of way. The values of the people we bring on board to have this sort of culture, surely these have got to be really creative people who understand what good things and what pleasure in life is really all about. And these people have got to have a view. They've got to have a view about, the mental model the organisation will follow. And surely the mental model of the organisation has got to be one of continually challenging the convention, because they want to lead. So everything we do inside the organisation will always challenge what's going on. So there might be my culture that could be wise for it. But really that's what the team's now got to start to think about. How can we, what sort of culture would best support what we're trying to do? So I've got a vision. My vision then leads to the question, well, what sort of culture might support it? But you see, the chief finance officer says, well, I'm not too much into this cuddly vision stuff. I'm into the bottom line. Wisely so as well. So what we then need to do is we then need to go back to this dream, and then we need to take that dream and translate it in some way to a spreadsheet. So if this dream's going to come about in year 5, what would we expect in terms of various achievements from the brand? In year 4, what would we expect? Now, ladies and gentlemen, note the way I've done it. I didn't talk about what do I expect in year 1 and year 2, because if I start talking about what do I expect in year 1 or year 2, I am taking an easy option. I am taking straight line extrapolation. By deliberately starting off with a vision, I'm trying to get you to think outside the box. So I've now got 5 years ahead. So if I want this little environment within which the brand operates to be like that in 5 years' time, what must we do differently? So I don't extrapolate from year 1. Instead, I start at year 5, and if you like, I roll my carpet back. What therefore would the market expect, not just in terms of buyer behaviour, but the financial community? What sort of return on investment would they expect? What shareholder value would they expect to see coming through? I start to put these big goals up, and then I come down my year 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on my various measures. I've now got stretching goals. I've now got really stretching goals. So by using this model, I'm not into extrapolation. I'm now into really trying to grow in some way value.